The sky over Iceland turned violet as a shadow passed over the upper atmosphere, dimming the late sun like a curtain pulled across a stage. Civilians on the ground looked up, phones shaking in their hands, capturing the silent arrival of something colossal, something not of Earth. At 1703 Universal Time Coordinated, the Krell flagship Vornaktul entered low orbit. It was the size of a continent, studded with dark metallic ridges, its hull humming with heat signatures that Earth's sensors had never catalogued before. Inside United Earth Defense Command, buried beneath the glacial crust of Thingvellir, alarms didn't scream, they whispered, low and mechanical, like a predator alerting the pack. Commander Elara Myles stood at the center of the war room. Her posture was still, almost relaxed, though her mind raced. "Confirm visual on object," she said. "Confirmed. It's Krell. No hailing request." "Just a broadcast feed," said Lieutenant Park, his fingers trembling over the console. "Put it on." The lights dimmed, and every wall filled with the image of Admiral Zaltor. He was tall, reptilian, with segmented armor fused into his bioframe. His voice echoed in layers, translated by Earth's linguistic AIs into every major human tongue. "To the species known as humans, you are outnumbered. Outgunned. Surrounded. Your resistance is a minor footnote in the chronicles of the hegemony. You have 72 hours to surrender your planet and leadership to Krell authority. If you refuse, Earth will be sterilized to prevent contagion." The message ended abruptly. No reply option. Just static. Murmurs filled the room. Panic. Anger. A few looked at Elara, waiting. She didn't blink. "Get me a box," she said quietly. The room froze. Park turned. "Ma'am?" "A box," Elara repeated. "Roughly the size of a Krell head. We'll need it in 72 hours. The council met within the hour, presidents, generals, policymakers, and technocrats, all patched in from fortified locations around the world. "This is a suicide mission if we don't negotiate," said the German chancellor. "And its extinction if we trust them," said the Nigerian president. "What happens after surrender? Labor camps? Genetic studies? Dissolution? They'll glass us the moment we kneel," Elara said. "The Krell don't want peace. They want obedience." "But your shadow protocol, does it still function?" asked the French envoy, eyes narrowed. "It does. It was never decommissioned," Elara replied. "Because we knew this day would come." There was silence. Elara leaned forward. "We didn't spend 30 years pretending to be harmless because we were. We've been hiding the Shadow Fleet in the Pacific Trench, under Antarctic ice, and deep within asteroid stations. All designed to stay cloaked, dormant, until provoked." General Voss grunted. "And this feels plenty provoking." 3 hours later, Elara walked alone through the cold corridors of the Shadow Vault. Her boots echoed against alloy tiles as her hand hovered over the biometric lock to Bay 9. "Commander," came a voice behind her. She turned. Colonel Rafik, her second in command, stood there, arms crossed, face drawn tight. "You're really doing this? If we don't respond with strength, we're not responding at all. They'll retaliate. They already are. This," she gestured upward, "is just them waiting for the formality of our surrender before they start killing." She activated the lock. The doors parted with a hiss. Inside, rows of long dormant machines stirred awake. Stealth drones, plasma lances, AI warfighters, weapons developed in silence, in secret. Their power had never been tested. Until now. Elara stepped to the main console. "Authorization Miles," Epsilon read. "Initiate Shadow Protocol." A second's pause. Then the words glowed green. "Shadow Fleet, online." By morning, strange disappearances began. One Krell scout ship blinked off sensors over the Indian Ocean. Another over Patagonia. No wreckage. No distress. Just, gone. Inside the Vornaktul, Admiral Zaltor watched the data feed with cold calculation. Is it sabotage? Asked his aide. Not possible, Zaltor replied. Primitive worlds don't have cloak tech that can pierce Krell signatures. Then what is it? Zaltor stared at Earth, eyes narrowing. Something we missed. Elara stood in the command room again, watching live feeds of atmospheric conditions. Satellite networks buzzed with movement. Every orbit was under threat. Lieutenant Park approached. We just picked up another encrypted feed. This time from them. A diplomatic envoy requests landing permission in Reykjavik. Stall them. 10 hours. I want our gift prepared. 10 hours later, the Krell diplomatic craft descended in a column of blue light. It landed in a cleared glacial field, surrounded by human guards. The alien envoy, a smaller Krell, dressed in ceremonial ivory plating, stepped forward. Elara met him outside. You represent Earth, the envoy hissed. I represent its will, Elara replied. He handed her a ceremonial data crystal. Your terms of surrender. Sign within 48 hours. Our leader offers you a place of governance. Subservience ensures survival. Elara didn't look at the crystal. We believe in gifts, she said, nodding to her aides. 2 soldiers brought forward a container, matte black, sealed. What is this? The envoy asked. A response. Should I open it now? Elara stepped close. Her voice was calm, almost kind. I wouldn't. The envoy left without another word. His ship broke orbit 30 minutes later, returning to the Vornaktoll. Inside his quarters, Admiral Zaltor waited. The envoy bowed low and placed the container before him. It's a gift, he said. Zaltor opened it. What stared back at him was the head of the Krell scout leader who had first contacted Earth 6 years ago, a decorated veteran of 2-star campaigns. His expression was frozen in disbelief. The wound was clean. Zaltor's lower jaw tensed. They understand fear, he whispered. They just pretend they don't. In Thingvellir, Elara stared at the orbital display. 3 days until deadline. She spoke quietly, almost to herself. You wanted us to kneel. She turned from the console, eyes like ice. You're going to wish we had. The Vornaktoll loomed like a scar across Earth's orbit, its belly bristling with weapon arrays that hadn't activated, yet. But the silence wasn't peace. It was calculation. And Admiral Zaltor had begun to do the one thing Krell warlords rarely did, doubt. In the depths of Earth's oceans, something stirred. 1,000 meters below the surface of the Mariana Trench, cloaked plates peeled back. Cold water rushed over obsidian holes. One by one, long-dormant ships powered up. The Shadow Fleet, Earth's hidden armada, began its ascent. Commander Elara Myles stood in the chamber known as the Deep Coil, the neural command interface for the fleet. A halo of data swirled around her, projected from her retinal implants, fleet formations, real-time orbital patterns, and one small blinking icon, strike authorization pending. Colonel Rafik appeared beside her, breath short from the climb. 2 more Krell scouts disappeared. No trace. Their command ships trying to triangulate the cause. They're getting frustrated. They should be, Elara said. She watched one of their stealth drones slip under the alien sensors, tagging a Krell weapons array without setting off alarms. They've never dealt with invisible enemies. Rafik smirked. They thought they were the apex species. No. They thought we were prey. Over the Arctic Circle, another Shadow-class stealth ship breached the ice shelf with barely a ripple. Its hull shimmered with adaptive camouflage. Drones dispersed from its flanks, laying interference nets like invisible spiderwebs across the upper atmosphere. Meanwhile, the diplomatic circles churned. At the Reykjavik Accord chamber, Earth's representatives greeted Krell envoy Verken again, this time with artificial smiles and hollow hospitality. We've received your gift, Verken said with a tight bow. Admiral Zaltor considers it audacious. Only appropriate, Elara replied. You threatened extinction. We responded with etiquette. The envoy blinked. This is a serious matter, Commander. The hegemony watches. They expect Earth to comply. Your refusal may draw further punishment. We're not refusing, Elara said, her tone dry. We're just preparing a different form of acceptance. A pause. I hope your admiral likes fireworks. In low orbit, one Krell cruiser began to drift. From their command deck, the alien crew scrambled. Internal systems flickered. Power reserves dropped. Communications vanished. A moment later, the ship folded in on itself, clean, silent. No explosion. Just absence. Elara received the alert. That's the 6th in 24 hours, Rafik said. They're about to realize it's not sabotage. It's precision. She walked over to the main ops console and keyed into the global network. A few commands later, a signal activated, global broadcast queue initialized. Ready? Rafik asked. Time for a little theater. The message was subtle, embedded into the diplomatic channel Earth had pretended to abandon. The Krell picked it up in moments. You wanted submission. We offer evidence instead. Consider this a demonstration of restraint. Attached was a live feed, footage from a Krell observation drone that had failed to self-destruct. It showed an Earth stealth ship sliding under its hull, slicing its power conduit with a razor-thin plasma wire, and vanishing before alarms triggered. Zaltor saw it. He replayed it 6 times. Not once did the Earth ship show on sensors. A chill passed over the Admiral's spine, a feeling foreign to Krell biology. Still, he summoned Verken for a new message. This has escalated beyond posturing. Tell them they have 24 hours. Then we fire. Elara received the ultimatum while overseeing weapon prep at Earth's orbital railgun platform in Kenya. She didn't react to the words. Just the timestamp. They moved up their deadline, Rafik noted. They're starting to sweat. What's the plan? We give them exactly what they asked for. She typed in a new protocol and sent it through Earth's encrypted defense lattice. Operation, Mirrored Wrath, Phase 1 engaged. 16 cloaked interceptors launched from under Greenland's ice shelf. Each carried payloads not meant to destroy, only to dismantle. Their targets, the Krell's outer satellites, relay buoys, and long-range targeting systems. The first exploded in a white pulse. To Krell sensors, it looked like a solar flare. The second followed. Then the third. Within minutes, Zaltor's entire orbital targeting grid was blind. They couldn't see Earth. Couldn't aim. Couldn't fire. Inside the Vornak toll, panic settled into systems command. Targeting arrays offline. Backups scrambling, interference pattern is non-random. Cyber invasion? No. It's surgical. Human-made. Zaltor growled, clawing the air. They're not stalling. They're circling. Back on Earth, Elara stood before a metal case sealed with 6 locks. One by one, she opened them. Inside rested a single neural core, pulsing with low light. She touched its surface. You've been sleeping long enough, she said. The AI inside, codenamed Cassandra, had been Earth's wartime advisor project. Shelved due to fears of its predictions causing paranoia. But now, her algorithms were needed. The core flickered. Commander Elara, it said in a soft, chilling voice. Shall I calculate outcomes? No. I already know them. Then you're not here for comfort. I'm here for precision. Then give me targets. The countdown read 1904. Less than 20 hours left. Elara called a final pre-engagement briefing. Every Shadow Fleet captain joined by neural link. No salutes. Just faces, weathered, focused, deadly. She stood in the center of the projection, eyes sharp. We are not here to destroy. We are here to remind the galaxy what happens when you corner a species that builds not from fear, but from memory. Every one of you carries pain. That pain is our weapon. She paused. And tomorrow, it becomes theirs. The fleet nodded as one. Then the link cut. On the other side of space, the Krell flagship received one final parcel. No message. No encryption. Just coordinates. They pointed not to Earth, but to a single debris field, the remains of a Krell cruiser, carefully reassembled into the shape of a human hand. 5 broken ships, arranged like fingers. A twisted, silent sculpture. A warning written in metal. Zaltor stared, unmoving. "Prepare the plasma cannons," he said. His aide hesitated. "But Admiral, without targeting." "Fire anyway." As the alien cannons began to charge, Elara walked to her command chair aboard the ESS Revenant, the flagship of the Shadow Fleet. "All units," she said, "stand by for final engagement orders." She looked once more at Earth through the viewport. So small from here. So quiet. Then she looked upward. "Let's show them what silence can do." The Krell fired first. It wasn't precision, it was panic. Plasma lances tore through Earth's orbit, carving across empty space. Dozens of blasts missed entirely, disrupted by Earth's targeting interference. Others struck decoys, projected heat signatures shaped like satellites and military platforms. Inside the ESS Revenant, Commander Elara Myles stood unflinching as tremors rumbled through the hull. "They've started," Colonel Rafik said from her left. "They've already lost," she replied. "Initiate retaliation phase." A single word rippled through Earth's hidden fleet: "Go." In orbit, silence cracked wide open. Earth's Shadow Fleet emerged from cloak, not as a single force, but as hundreds of spears piercing the dark. Interceptors, stealth bombers, railgun carriers, all sliding from shadow into fire. The Vornak tool lit up with alerts. Multiple contact points emerging from gravity wells. Impossible. There were no warp signatures. They were here the whole time. Krell crews scrambled to redirect power. It was too late. Elara's flagship opened fire. Railgun rounds moved at hypersonic velocity, unguided, untargeted, because they didn't need to be. The Krell had exposed their heat arrays during the volley. Each shot landed with surgical precision. A Krell destroyer buckled inward, split along its spinal axis, then went dark. A second lost power and tumbled out of formation. Elara watched, her voice even. "Fire on systems. Not holes. I want them alive to see this." At Earth's Polar Defense Station, dormant rail platforms roared to life. Buried beneath tundra, powered by geothermal reactors, they launched kinetic spikes skyward. One by one, Krell command ships dropped from orbit, not exploded, not incinerated, but disabled. Paralyzed. Back on the Vornak toll, Admiral Zaltor's command chamber was chaos. Technicians shouted over failing readouts. Tactical overlays blinked red. Zaltor stared at the hologram of Earth. It hadn't changed. It just watched. "They were ready," he growled. "They were always ready." In the Revenant's war room, Elara took a breath. "Broadcast," she said. The communications officer tapped the console. Channels opened across all Krell vessels. Even civilian ships in the hegemony received the feed. Elara stepped into frame. Her uniform bore no medals. Just the Earth insignia, blue, quiet, unassuming. "You came to our world with demands. You offered obedience or death. We gave you silence." Her gaze held the lens like a scalpel. "We won't beg. We won't run. And we never forget." The screen split. On one side, Elara, calm. On the other, the Krell envoy's severed head, rotating in zero gravity, a slow spin across a black backdrop. Not grotesque. Just final. "This is our answer." She nodded. The transmission cut. Back aboard Vornak toll, Zaltor's rage boiled over. "All ships, engage full assault." Aide Verkan hesitated. "Admiral, we've lost 2/3 of targeting. Rear shields are down. Engines. Now." But the ships didn't move. Outside, the Shadow Fleet had formed a perfect ring, an iron halo around the flagship. They didn't fire. Just hovered. Watching. Verken turned pale. They've boxed us in. Zaltor's voice cracked. They want us to retaliate. In a distant system, the galactic hegemony's Senate chamber watched the feed in silence. Elara's face. The orbiting noose of human warships. The Krell's disarmed vessels. No nuclear signatures. No planetary shields. Just precision and patience. A diplomat from the Valari Collective whispered, "We thought they were unrefined." A Tarn delegate murmured, "No." They were silent. Not stupid. Zaltor's decision came with clenched fists and bared teeth. Withdraw. The word was acid. But we'll return, he hissed. When they forget their fear. The Krell fleet retreated in formation. What remained of it? Earth didn't fire. Didn't chase. Elara sat in the Revenant's command chair, fingers steepled. Status? Fleet integrity, 100%. No losses. Casualties? None. Not even a scratch. She nodded once. Then we're done here. She looked out the viewport as the Krell ships faded into jump space. Let the galaxy talk. 7 days later, on the trading world of Juker Prime, whispers filled the bazaars. Did you hear? Earth made the Krell back down. They say humans don't build weapons to conquer. They build them to end things. In the dim-lit corners of bars and Senate halls alike, the same phrase echoed. The humans didn't declare war. They declared memory. In her office beneath Thingvalar, Elara looked at the star map projected across the ceiling. Krell space glowed red. Hegemony systems, yellow. Earth, a pale blue dot. Rafik entered with a datapad. Galactic Council sent an inquiry. They want a clarification of Earth's military status. Elara raised an eyebrow. What did you tell them? He smiled. That we're a non-aggressive, peace-seeking species. She smirked. Technically true. He hesitated. You think they'll come back? She stared at the stars a moment longer. Only if they forget. Then she turned off the projection. And Earth returned to silence.